Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. The Steam Winter Sale is running right now, and I know a lot of you guys are going to check out the videos I do of under $5, under $3, under $10 games, etc, etc. However, in this video, I do want to highlight my favorite games of 2025 that are on sale. Now, these are games that I've played and games that I've really enjoyed, and it's not even everything. I don't have Arc Raiders on this list, for example, just because I'm not really a multiplayer guy anymore. I don't have Battlefield 6 on this list either. Not a multiplayer guy as much as I used to be, so these are my personal favorite games, and obviously, as they are games that came out in 2025, they are going to be on the more expensive side, so it is what it is. You know, a lot of people are hunting the best deals, the deep discounts, etc, etc. If you got a couple dollars to spend, or a couple extra dollars to spend, let's be honest, because some of these are going to be, you know, north of $30, $40. With that being said, let's get right into it, and let's start things off with Split Fiction. It is available 25% off for $37.49. I thought Split Fiction was a great co-op title, and Hazelight Studios has done a phenomenal job of really carving out an area for themselves as far as creating unique and compelling experiences in the form of these co-op titles, and how they take co-op gameplay and then also create incredibly unique game design out of it. It's one of the more fascinating things to see in all of gaming, to be honest, because there's not a lot of other studios, and I don't really even know if there is another studio that creates co-op titles like this, that there are games that can only be played co-op. You can't play this solo, and remember that if you buy the game, you can invite a friend to play with you for free. The Friends Pass is available, and they just have to download it, and then only one person has to buy the game. It's a great game, not super lengthy. I would push back on the idea of this being a game that can get, let's say, your significant other into gaming that hasn't played a lot of video games. Split Fiction, I would not say is a game to get people into gaming. I would look at a game like a Haven if you want a co-op title, but Split Fiction, if you do have a friend to play with, your significant other, and they're into video games, I think a lot of the game design, it's a little bit tricky. You know, it's incredibly unique, but it's not something I would say people can pick up and play. I thought the story was pretty good, but again, this game shines from a gameplay standpoint, and I thought it was absolutely phenomenal in that regard. Split Fiction is 25% off for $37.49. Next up, a game that I've been glazing for a little while now, but I feel like the glazing has been upped ever since the game wasn't nominated for Best Narrative at the Game Awards. That is the 100-Line Last Defense Academy. 30% off for $42. Now, is this game perfect? No. However, this game is so incredibly ambitious that even though it gets some things wrong and it's not absolutely perfect in every element of its narrative unfolding, I think this game is so well done, and I can appreciate how much they tried to go above and beyond with this game. I thought it was absolutely incredible, and by the end of the game, that you think you're getting to the end of the game in your 35-40 hour playthrough, you realize, oh, you're just kind of starting the prologue and how you go through the game over and over again, and then you finally, you know, get to more of the mystery unraveling. I don't want to give away any spoilers, but this is one of the more compelling games that I've come across in a long time. The tactical gameplay, I wouldn't say is blow away. It's totally fine. It's totally serviceable, but this is a narrative first kind of game. And if you're into games like Danganronpa with that air of mystery, I think you'll enjoy 100-Line Last Defense Academy quite a lot. It's 30% off for $42, so definitely check that out. Next up, we have a Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. That is 40% off for $42. I had a great time with Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, and that goes without saying, given that Metal Gear Solid 3 is one of my favorite games of all time. But this is a quality remake of the game. Now, it should be noted that this is a game that had some issues on PC. UE5 games on PC, it's a bit of a crap show a lot of the time, so you kind of just get what you get. In my experience, I had a good time on PC. The game did crash on me like 4 times. I've heard other people, the game didn't crash whatsoever, and I know they've been rolling out updates and things of that nature. The game's got a 91% positive reception on PC, but when you're spending $70 at full price on a game, it should be working fine right out the gate. But $42 on it. MGS3 is a phenomenal game. Is it super lengthy? No. It's a game that you can complete fairly quickly in the sense that, 15 to 18 hours around that range, but it is one of those games that I'm going to go back to over and over again and I'll play for years and years. So I had a great time with it. I certainly would recommend it. Next up, we have Kingdom Come Deliverance, 50% off for $29.99. Now, this is a game that the people that enjoy it are going to consider it literally one of their favorite games of all time. There's going to be another audience of people that I feel like are not going to be able to get into this game and won't enjoy it to that level. It's a real either-or kind of situation. Either you really love this game or you're gonna drop it within 10 hours or so. I think this game is incredible. I am on the side of people saying that the combat is mediocre. I think the combat in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is honestly pretty bad. Like, I don't think the combat is engaging whatsoever. I've talked to people that liked it. If you liked it, more power to you. But I think this game, from a world design standpoint, a narrative standpoint, decision-making, it is so well done in that regard. And in terms of role-playing games, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is one of the most remarkable games you're gonna come across because of all of the options and the decisions that it offers to the players. I think it's so well done in that regard that I would certainly recommend it for 50% off, $29.99. I do think it's a really good pickup, but it's one of those games that I would assess what you're getting yourself into. If you like that historical setting, I think you're gonna like the game quite a lot. If that's not really gonna draw you in, maybe pass on this one for now and then bite on it when it's a little bit cheaper. Maybe the Royal Edition's a little bit cheaper, So there you go with that. Next up, obviously goes without saying, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. It is 20% off for $39.99. It's a lot of people's game of the year, and I know that there has been that level of pushback now on the game in the sense that, people think it's overrated. And that seems to be the popular thing whenever a game gets really, really popular, is that now there are going to be the people that come out and think that a game's overrated, which is fine. People are entitled to have whatever opinion they want. But I thought Clair Obscur Expedition 33 was absolutely phenomenal. I think the game is incredible from a narrative standpoint. I think the sound design and the soundtrack is great. The characters are likable. The gameplay, the turn-based combat, I thought was really well done. Does it have a level of jank to it? Absolutely, but I think overall the game is fantastic. They just dropped the free thank you update as well. It's a phenomenal game. $39.99 on that is well worth it. Next up, while I do crap on the Souls-like games all the time because they are a bit too difficult for me, I want to give a shout to the first Berserker Khazan. That's 30% off for $42. I had a really good time with first Berserker Khazan. Now, I'm going to be transparent with you guys. I played this game on the easiest difficulty, so take that for what you will. If that negates my opinion of the game, you're entitled to believe that. And I'll be transparent with you guys. If a Souls-like game offers an easier difficulty, every time going forward, I'm going to play the game on the easier difficulty. I don't care. But nonetheless, I enjoyed this game because I thought the art style was fantastic. I thought the gameplay was enjoyable. I thought the soundtrack was awesome. And the story was fine for what it was, and on the easier difficulty, for me, as somebody that's a schmuck at a lot of these games, I still had a little bit of challenge, but it wasn't overwhelming to the point where I couldn't beat it. And I've played a lot of Souls-like games. I seem to clown on the genre quite a lot, but then your boy plays like all of the games that come out, at least the major ones. But nonetheless, I really did enjoy first Berserker Khazan. There were some elements towards the latter stages of the game that I wasn't crazy about. There was a platforming section at the end of the game that absolutely infuriated me, but overall, I really did enjoy the game. And, I crap on Souls-like games all the time just because I think there's so many of them, and there's other aspects to it as well that I'm not going to go on a diatribe about now, but I did enjoy first Berserker Khazan, and the art style I thought was fantastic in the game, so definitely would recommend that. Chronos The New Dawn, 25% off for $44.99. This is one of those games that I think a lot of people are going to check out when it's fairly cheap, because it is a new IP. Bloober Team, while I love them as a studio, and I've been talking them up quite a lot, they're still not the best-known studio in the world, but they certainly are. Their name's getting out there more and more, especially after the Silent Hill 2 remake. I thought this game was a really well done survival horror title. I thought the atmosphere and the tension of the game was great. Narratively, it was incredibly interesting. A little bit more on the challenging side, for sure. And, I'm not crazy about that these days, but I did have a great time with it. It is a 15 or so hour long game, which, again, much like MGS3, that was going to be an element that pushes people away at a premium price point, and I get that, but I really did enjoy it, so $45 on that. Obviously, Trails in the Sky for First Chapter, 25% off for $44.99. In my opinion, one of the absolute best games of the year probably would be in my top 3. Like, it probably would go Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, and then Trails in the Sky First Chapter. Hopefully we'll get Death Stranding 2 on PC in the near future, but Trails in the Sky First Chapter was a phenomenal JRPG. I am a long-time Legend of Heroes fan. I've been talking about this franchise for almost, not quite a decade, but we're getting pretty darn close. I think I first started talking up this franchise in 2018, so you know, next year will be 8 years, and it's been going on for much longer than that. You know, in the mid to early 2000s, I believe it was, with Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, the original release. This is a ground-up remake of the very first Legend of Heroes title, Trails in the Sky, and now the question has been laid to rest. Where do I start with the Legend of Heroes games? Well, it's Trails in the Sky First Chapter. This game is just a phenomenal remake. It adds all of the quality of life improvements that the recent titles have added. The combat is great, a mix of real-time action as well as the turn-based combat system that works really well. Soundtrack is phenomenal, and I will say this, Trails in the Sky First Chapter is a lot of setup for the overall Sky trilogy, and the second game. The second game is going to come out in fall of 2026, but the first game is still great. It introduces you to the characters, and they're very likable characters, and the way this game ends, you're going to very much want to play the second game as well when that drops. But for now, 25% off for $45. Highly recommend that. Next up, we have Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles, 20% off for $39.99. This is an absolute classic to many people. Final Fantasy Tactics wasn't a game that I was super attached to growing up. Like, I played Tactics War of the Lions when it came out on PSP, but man, the Ivalice Chronicles, it was a great time to go back and play this. The tactics gameplay is great with a lot of depth. The voice acting, the full voice acting that the game added, I thought that was great as well. It can be pretty darn challenging. They did add an easy mode to the game, but it's still going to be a fairly challenging title that you're not going to be able to just steamroll to. There's an RNG element. You want to have the right class setups as well. The story is quite good. Soundtrack is great for $39.99. It's only 20% off, but I would say it's a pretty decent pickup. Next up, Digimon Story Time Stranger, 20% off as well. $55.99 on this. We've been waiting a long time for a top-level Digimon game, and we finally got it with Digimon Story Time Stranger. Not to say that there haven't been quality Digimon games. There have been. I mean, like, I like Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory. I liked Digimon Survive a lot, and those were the recent Digimon releases. But Story Time Stranger really leveled up what Digimon games could be with a phenomenal story in the game. The gameplay is great. The turn-based combat is very well done. The different locales you go to, I thought, were well done. Some of the dungeon design isn't great, and I've said it before, but the side content leaves a lot to be desired, at least a lot of it. But overall, the game is really solid. I am bummed out that it really feels like the DLC is just gonna be mid-level DLC that's not all that good, because you could just look at it. Look, Digimon Story Time Stranger, all-time Steam reviews, 6,400 reviews, 94% positive reception. Digimon Story Time Stranger, additional Digimon in Episode Pack 1, mostly negative reception, 183 user reviews, 39% positive. And I don't want to get on a tangent about it now, but you see this a lot in gaming when there's these games that bake in the DLC content with these deluxe editions, so they sell you the DLC before the game comes out. There's no incentive on them trying with the DLC. Look at how Starfield's Shattered Space was received as well. Same thing with that, and Bandai Namco has a track record of doing this. You want to know what the expansions and the DLCs that are really good? It's the ones that come out after the fact, like a Ghost of Tsushima Iki Island, like a Horizon Zero Dawn's Frozen Wilds, like a Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. These DLCs that are baked into the game's deluxe editions just always generally turn out to be pretty mediocre or even straight up bad, and it's a cash grab. Which Bandai Namco, you built so much goodwill with this game. Like, at this point, it's too late. Like, the DLC's in place, but it's something that I feel like we need to call out a little bit more. But nonetheless, Digimon Story Time Stranger was an excellent game, and for $56, expensive, but the core game is still quite good. Next up, we have Ninja Gaiden 4, 30% off for $49. I've been talking up this game quite a lot as well. This is just a phenomenal action game. Sure, the story isn't that good, but you want to know something? Are you buying Ninja Gaiden for the story? Oh my god, I'm not that interested in the tale of the Dark Dragon. Like, nobody cares. Everybody's buying this game, or you should be buying this game for the quality action gameplay. And Ninja Gaiden 4's action gameplay is absolutely top level. It makes you feel like a badass. The soundtrack is awesome. It has a bit of a vibe from Metal Gear Rising to it, and I say that in the most complimentary way possible. The game is fantastic, although Ninja Gaiden 4 also has the DLC baked into its deluxe edition, so hopefully Platinum Team Ninja, you do a better job with the Ninja Gaiden 4 DLC than the Digimon Story DLC. We'll see how that turns out, but nonetheless, $49 on that, 30% off. It's like a 15-hour or so game, but that's one of those games that, man, I'll go back and I'll play that game again at some point on the Master Ninja difficulty, which you get after beating the game. Just had a great time with that. And then I do want to give a shout to Dispatch, which is only 10% off for $27. What an awesome narrative-driven title. There's a lot of decision-making. Is it light on the gameplay? Yes, there's the aspect of you send out the heroes to do their tasks. That gameplay aspect I don't even think is that good. It's fine. It's totally serviceable, but narratively, I thought Dispatch was just fantastic. Likeable characters, has a bit of comedy that genuinely made me laugh. Like, there are a lot of games that I feel like the comedy really doesn't hit. Like Dispatch, there were multiple times where I actually did laugh, and I thought the story was just really well done. Replayability with the different routes and whatnot. Great game. Can't wait for Season 2, which I know hasn't been confirmed, but come on. Based on the fact of how well this game is done, a Season 2 is absolutely going to be happening. And then I do want to highlight two games that were released in 2024, but came out on PC on a delay. First of all, we have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That is 50% off for $34.99. Excellent deal for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the direct sequel to Final Fantasy VII Remake. You absolutely should play Remake before Rebirth, and Rebirth was a great time. And, you know, it took a lot of what made a Remake great, but you opened up the world, there's more side content, the gameplay's better, and on top of that, you're getting to the core narrative of Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Remake was a lot of introduction, and that's fine, you need to do that, but with Rebirth, you're getting to the core of where things really go down. So highly recommend that, $35 on that. And then lastly, Stellar Blade is 20% off for $48. Phenomenal action game, and shout out to Shift Up. Yes, I know it's an Unreal Engine 4 game, but with all of the garbage PC versions that have been available this year and so many bad ports, Stellar Blade is one of the absolutely fantastic PC versions. Steam Deck verified, runs beautifully on there, and you're talking about a great game to boot. Yeah, take the gooning aside, there's a really good action game here that does falter a little bit on the narrative aspect, but I don't even think the narrative is as bad as some people make it out to be. I still thought it was a pretty serviceable action game narrative, and the gameplay is great. The soundtrack is phenomenal. Stellar Blade does not get enough love for its excellent soundtrack. It's just a really solid action game, and yeah, it's $48. That's pricey, but I would still say it's absolutely worth it. So definitely check that out. $48 on that, and Stellar Blade 2 is in development, so obviously the game did really well. But that is going to do it for me. Again, a lot of great game deals. I know that these are a little bit more on the expensive side, but I thought, hey, we can highlight some of these games, and also this is a bit of a look back in 2025 and my favorite games of the year, which I know I talk up Expedition 33 and whatnot, but there have been so many quality games this year and a great year, and honestly, I look ahead to 2026, I think 2026 looks even better than 2025. And there are games that I didn't mention in this list. Dynasty Warriors Origins, I just think is a little bit too expensive at $52.49. That's a game that came out back in January, but I really did enjoy Dynasty Warriors Origins as well. That was a great game. You know, there were a lot of games. Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak 2. That was a quality game. Even if it wasn't at the level of the other Legend of Heroes game, I would still recommend that. And yeah, just a really good year for some great games. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of
of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.